I mean, right now there's a lot of obviously college graduations going on.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a big obviously that means there are commencement speeches, and there have been some speeches and graduations that have been pretty like controversial.
Hmm.
There was one by Harrison Butker at I forget which university, but it was a conservative like Catholic university for nursing students. And in his commencement speech, he was talking about how Biden's COVID policies. He's taking a really strong political stances in it, and made some really controversial statement about like kind of gender roles and how women being essentially being members of I guess the caretaking role. Them doing that is kind of where they're most well suited for. So he got about a lot of backlash for that. It ended up being a very controversial commencement speech, and now the NFL is kind of separating himself because this commencement speaker, he's an athlete. He's a kicker for a team in the NFL. So a lot of teams are distancing themselves from it. So I was just thinking, like, if you guys remember who your commencement speakers were during your graduation.
I remember when I graduated back in 2019, our speaker was, excuse me, it was I think he was said he was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and then I that night or that evening I Googled his name, and he was he was like a he was a millionaire, but I wasn't sure what he was like, what exactly his company was known for. I just know he said something about Fortune 500, but I just remember it wasn't like so much his success. I mean, yeah, he's rich and he was really successful and he's VCU alumni. Or I don't think he graduated. He said he didn't graduate from VCU, but he did attended briefly before dropping out. And he mentioned how he was working at McDonald's when he was like 25 or 26 or something, and completely clueless in life. Like he had no direction at all. Working McDonald's at like 25, 26. I think he said until he was like 30 something. So he went that long being aimless, and then he struck gold. I think he saved, if I remember correctly, I mean 5 years ago, the commencement speech. Yeah, he somehow he just started a Fortune 500 company. So he was that's what I remember. But I've yeah, my college commencement speech wasn't that. My dad was really impressed by it, but I didn't think it was that
Gotcha.
spectacular. But I've heard some really great ones. I know this year, I think GW right down the street from here, George Washington University, they have Jen Psaki coming out. I'm sure that's going to be really influential.
What about you, Sam? Do you remember who your commencement speaker was at your graduation?
Man, I don't remember because Yundin and other people came all the way to see me. I was
Yeah.
too excited. So I don't
Uh,
remember. And also,
Yeah.
the graduation was like a really big one from like all the different schools. Like, I mean, colleges. So I didn't really recall any one of them. Do you recall, Yundin?
Don't think I remember the commencement speech. I do remember like some. I do remember some of the graduates who I think there was one. She passed away
Oh,
right
yes.
before.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry.
Right, right, right. That one, I think she studied architecture, right? I think,
Yeah, yeah,
but somehow she passed away, and then, but her father came to the graduation, and then the school give the degree to her father. Well, that was kind of touching.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
that one. Yeah,
her husband and her father. So
right.
I think that was the most memorable part of when we came to your graduation.
Yeah,
That was that was even that just completely superseded the commencement speaker. To be honest with you,
I
that experience was so touching.
think I think they came all the way from Egypt to here or something.
Yeah. Oh man, it's tragic, but I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah, man.
I will say this, like I don't listen. I don't watch that many. I don't watch college commencement speeches time as much as I maybe should. But I do. One thing I do often is sometimes I will. I don't know about you guys, but some people I did notice that at your graduation it was the same graduation music as my college graduation music.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'll share my screen so you guys know what I'm talking about. But I do, from time to time, listen to this just to like kind of like recalibrate myself, bring me back to like that feeling of my when I during my college graduation, that was probably the most fulfilling moment of my life. One of them, other being, of course, getting married. But yeah, this song. You guys know? You guys recognize it? You guys recognize it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will play that college commencement music from time to time. Anything in the news that you guys have seen or interesting enough to talk about?
So there's something I wanted to kind of talk about. ChatGPT came up with a new what's ChatGPT 4.0. Have y'all seen it?
Some people
Yeah,
have,
yeah. I saw some news about it.
Pretty nuts. I saw a video. I mean, I saw the video of the ChatGPT developers launching it. It's like way more interactive. You can like have a conversation actually with there's like a robot that speaks with you. And like the intonation is very human like, which is pretty creepy. And then now they can do like translations much more fluid. There was like in the demonstration there was people talking back and forth. An English speaker was talking in English to an Italian, and it was translating from Italian to English, English to Italian. Good conversation. Very very cool. But yeah, that's all I know about it.
have you guys noticed in Google when you make the Google search that new AI overview, like even before like the top answer, the top search, or the top result, you get the AI overview. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, a lot of people kind of annoyed by it for some reason, but what do you guys think?
Something would you like to respond first?
You mean like when you type something and they automatically give you suggestions? That thing?
No, when you search something, and let me just give you an example. The AI overview. So, you search something on Google, and then the AI overview, it's like condenses a bunch of everything you're gonna look for in the rest of that search, and tries to condense it in like a short set of paragraphs with some links in between it. But I mean, I kind of like what Google's always done, like, just give you the top answer, the main answer at the top, and then the most popular articles following it. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you guys think? I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go first. If
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I think it's just natural selection in the tech industry. I think if people want that to be what appears first, they're just fulfilling a demand. Obviously, what they have now, Google searches are one of those things where it's like there's just so much influx of information that it's hard to parse out which one's good, which one's bad. But with this now, AI being a huge part of I guess, the trend recently, like a lot of companies would just add AI at the end of it, and then they'll they'll be in the forefront, and they'll it's just a much better marketing technique to have AI incorporate in the business plan. And now I think Bing is the one that's incorporated it as well. So yeah, I think it's a really smart idea. I think people want really straight up answers, and people want AI now. People trust AI to be more reliable than the old method of search engine. Eventually, it's going to replace Google. Eventually, I think it's going to replace other search engines because it's a culmination of Google results and Bing results, right? Because it's an amalgamation of all the I guess content that's out there in a way that's supposed to be more accurate, supposed to be more centered around actually answering the question. Whereas Google, what they do is like look for keywords that match. But I think AI does a better job of identifying exactly what it is that you're looking for and kind of trying to answer that question. So I think it's like I said, natural selection happening in the world of AI. I think it's good. I think it's helpful. If I'm trying to figure out how to bake a cake, I would rather not click the first link on Google and go through 15 things of ads, then say disable cookies. They give you an option, and then you don't even know. Then they have a bunch of filler words, and at the end, you're just kind of like more confused. I'd rather have one reliable source that I can trust, and I trust AI at least with basic things on how to do like basic stuff like baking or on a basic searches. I trust AI, so I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Samduk?
Yeah. For me, I feel like I still prefer like the Google because um I like history and stuff, and so I look something really specific. And sometimes when you search, if you search by AI, sometimes maybe they won't dig really deep like that. And also, there's limitation between languages and languages. I feel if you searching English source or like history, those sourced in English,
Mm-hmm.
AI be a good way, so they might know more. But if you are searching like something from other country, for example, I searched a lot of stuff about Mongolian history, Tibetan history, or Central Asian history, and I realized AI, they can only provide really general informations. So I prefer like more manually go to Google, dip into those things. But I mean, apparently, like they develop AI, so this would be a thing they will redress. I think for sure. They understand different languages better, and they might have more source to those things, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think AI is kind of like playing the role of Wikipedia.
Yeah,
It's good for
Yeah.
basic information,
right.
but I definitely wouldn't recommend it for more deep research like you're talking about. Um, but yeah, some who does a lot more deep research than I do. I look for so not so much. I don't do as much deep diving.
No, like if you use AI, say, "Hey, I have a letter I want to write. Can you blah blah blah?" That's a
Yeah.
good tool, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's helped me write some emails. I don't
yeah,
write you,
yeah.
but you can use it as like a
Yeah.
structure.
Like sometimes I need talk to like some of these architects and people,
Yeah.
and I want to talk really professional, but I don't want to spend my time to think how. So I
Exactly.
just I so which is a great idea, just using that as a tool.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think?
all I can say is, Wangjar, do you remember when we were talking about the anxious generation
Yeah,
and how and that article, I think from on the what was it, The Economist,
yeah,
about the Gen Z being the wealthiest generation. I won't comment on whether or not Gen Z is the richest generation or whatever that article was talking about, but I will say they are a very lucky generation. And the reason I say that is because they're entering the they're starting the professions, they're starting the careers with the ascendancy of AI and just chat GPT, even if it's not direct, for their college essays or whatever it is, even if it's not direct, they're directly copy and pasting what AI tells them. They can use that as a platform or a template. And I'm not, hey, listen, I'm not, just before anybody lambasts me for this, I'm not trying to, I'm not telling anybody. I'm 5,000% a proponent of everybody, doing your own research, working hard, and reading on your own and making your own dissertations and research papers on your own through your own creativity, through your own research. Yeah, but this generation, like, yeah, it does gonna have the AI doing everything for them, and it's just like yeah, they're just super lucky. I wouldn't be surprised if more more Gen Zers are going to be getting their PhDs by the time they're 25 or something.
Yeah, somersaulting off of what you're saying, I really think that it's actually going to be an issue later on, um, when it comes to having an original content. So let's say, like, for
Yeah,
example, I
it's
write
always going to be plagiarism and paraphrasing. Yeah,
paraphrasm and, yeah, plagiarism. I think that if people keep using it in a method of communication, like I have, right, I use it for emails, helping me write construct emails.
Mhm.
I think it may be like in 5-10 years, you're not gonna know whether or not like this person is a genuine email or genuine letter, or if it's like AI generated. So I think
Yeah,
there's always gonna be now that threat of, not threat, but there's gonna be that lack of, there's gonna be an extra question about whether or not there's an authenticity of anything you read, any articles you read, any blogs you read, any books you read. I'm sure there are books now that have come out since ChatGPT's come out that have largely taken influence from it. So creative field is something that I think is going to be in placed in question. I know I wrote a blog couple, 4 months ago, and you were like, did you use ChatGPT for it? Because you didn't know if I wrote it or if like ChatGPT helped me write it.
yeah.
So like there's that question of whether or not like uh the person that's kind of creating content out there is actually being genuine with it. And I use ChatGPT. I didn't copy it word for word, but I used it. But yeah, I think that applies.
All
Well,
right, then.
oh, sorry, Samdullah, continue.
Yeah, no, no, no. Continue.
No, Samdullah, you started first now.
Well, yo, I was thinking another thing I want to talk. It's actually I'm a little concerned about like personal information and privacy, those stuff, because like while you're using AI, you might ask a lot of information and you might provide a lot of information to them, so the AI might know like who you are, what's your interest, where you work, what's your like job be like, and all these stuff, and it will eventually go somewhere because a lot of people might use this as a tool in the future to get people's information, because like you see like you can generate photos from AI, right? But
Yeah,
these photos were from those photos already exist out there in the internet, so it's kind of dangerous. I feel like if there's no regulation for AI, it might be a problem because now there's already scams like like they use AI generating your voice and they call your family, and then sometimes people really believe it because if they go deep enough, they even know like what's the words or phrase you use often. That's something really scary. And back home, something like this already is happening. Yeah, back in, like TBT, like yeah, some scammers already targeting people, and they call you, and then you'll pick up the phone, you'll talk, but nobody talked there, so they probably record your voice, and then later they generate, and then they start scamming. So like I think AI, it's like I don't know. One way it's really good and helping us. The other way it's like kind of bad because in this way, and also you know, just like Yundela says, like Gen Z, you think they're lucky. Yes, I feel like yes, they're lucky. They have so many advanced tools to use to like to study. They're way luckier than us. But also, I feel like if they don't know how to use those properly, they will ruin themselves for sure. You know what I mean?
and I'm sorry, I should have emphasized this before, but when I said lucky, I meant lucky in the academic and
Yeah, yeah,
professional
yeah.
environment.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For sure.
I agree. I do agree because back then when we study, like when we were younger, we want to know something, we don't even know how to start, where to search. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
before Google and those stuff, like you have to look books, and later when you use Google, maybe Google won't show you what you exactly asked for, but AI now, you just like, hey, do you know this, and they'll be like, oh, maybe you're thinking this. They'll provide some information for you. Because I was looking for a game. I said, hey, do you remember there's a game probably around 2005? Blah,
Yeah.
blah. And they actually give me that information.
So I think Samdullah raised a really interesting point about data security concerns that are now going to be a huge problem because of AI. I think that's part of the reason why Sora, which is a video generating artificial intelligence that ChatGPT, the same company that came up with ChatGPT came up with, is still being kind of held back, is because of concerns about deep fakes, about kind of identity theft. So I think that's a really valid concern. And for ChatGPT, I think there's also the paid version, and there's I think ChatGPT 4, and now there's a 4.0, and then ChatGPT 3.5. If you have a ChatGPT 4.0, then they part of the subscription is they don't use the information that you type in the prompt as data that they collect. So there's an interesting cross sectionality between now people who are more wealthy, who have the resources to pay for it, have the ability to secure themselves from any data breach, and now people that might not even think about, might not have the resources to kind of pay for the premium subscription. I think it's about $20 to $25 a month. I have it for work, so that's why I know that you're able to protect your information at ChatGPT 4.0, whereas you cannot without the subscription. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of tackle it. But just like I think it is going to be a really huge topic of debate in the future, and there's probably going to be a huge industry alongside artificial intelligence is going to be protection against artificial intelligence going too far and being used by people for malicious reasons.
No, I totally agree. It was only, yeah, I figured it was only a matter of time before AI started having subscription services. So Wangjar and Samdrup, thank you guys so much for imparting that, the latest knowledge about AI developments in AI. So it's getting pretty late, at least here on the East Coast. So I can I can already tell Wangjar you got to get your Betty by your beauty sleep.
A beauty
Um,
sleep, yeah, my little nappy nap. Yep, whatever you want to
yep,
call it.
yep. Yeah, I gotta uphold
Sounds good.
your
Thank
beauty
you so
standard.
much for hanging out with us, or hanging out with me at least. And thank you, Yundala. Again, thank you, Sadullah. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Or
Yeah.
thanks for listening to me. Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Okay.